we're gonna start with a goblet squat. So for this, you're just gonna take the top of the dumbbell.
Like myself, this will help you sit deeper into your squat.
So always make sure you're pushing your knees out.
Build some legs, build some glutes. So that's what we're here to teach you to do.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Jasmine.
My name is Khalil.
And we're the Basses.
Welcome to Simplifying Strength Training, your beginner's guide to getting started on your strength training journey. And today our mission is to get you started with resistance training. We know that the studies show resistance training is the #1 way to keep a roaring metabolism well into your 50s, 60s. Also, it's the best way to lose fat and keep it off long term, but also it's the best way to build muscle, right? Most women want to be able to build some legs, build some glutes. So that's what we're here to teach you to do. So at the start of this series is going to be a multi-part series. We're going to walk you through all the basic exercises to get you started on your journey. So today, every woman's favorite is the squat, but most people are doing it totally wrong. So we'll start you with everything you'll need to know to get started with the squat. Most people want to hop in and get right under the bar right away, but we're going to walk you through, how to get set up and all those things. Ready to get into it?
Yes.
All right. So like I said, most people would want to start with the barbell squat. With my clients, I've worked with thousands of clients up to this point. I would never start somebody right with the barbell squat right away, just because there's a lot of things that I don't know. I don't know your mobility. I don't know your strength. So we got to make sure we're being safe when we get into the gym. And a lot of times that's what leads to that gym anxiety, just the fear of getting hurt, not knowing what you're doing. So what I would recommend and what I do with our clients is to start with a goblet squat. So we're gonna start Jasmine with a goblet squat. Well, first, we wanna start with a bodyweight squat first, actually. So go ahead and knock out 10 bodyweight squats first. So she has great mobility right off the bat, right? She's able to hit depth every single time. Myself, if I was to see myself coming into the gym right away, I would say something different because I have terrible ankle mobility. So I'll give you a couple tips on how we solve that too. 10?
Yes.
Cool. So the first place we're gonna start, I'm gonna hand her a 20. So we're gonna start with the goblet squat. So for this, you're just gonna take the top of the dumbbell, which is the fat part. You're gonna go palms up, hold it right in the center of your chest, and then she's gonna do the squats again. So this is much easier for you to hit depth with the dumbbell in the front because it acts as kind of a counterbalance, but also you don't have to deal with the shoulder mobility and the things you have to deal with the bar. So she's gonna be able to perform these very easily, but still get the resistance that we need in order to build up to this squat. 10? Cool. So if you are someone like myself who struggles with ankle mobility, what you're gonna do is, even if you're just on the goblet squat, you can grab it at 5. Thanks, assistant. What you're gonna do is take a couple 5s, and you place them down at what your squat depth would be, or your squat width would be. Go ahead. And you're just gonna put your heels on these plates. So you're gonna keep the balls of your feet, your toes on the floor, and then you're gonna perform the squat. So this allows you for artificial ankle mobility is what it is. So for those of you like me, if you notice that when you do a squat, your toes come up or you just can't sit down to parallel, this is the first place that we would go. And then once you decide that you're real serious about this, you wanna invest in yourself, I would get a pair of these Olympic lifting shoes. I've had these
for the longest time.
For over 10 years and they haven't got worn out because the bottom is hard plastic, but it has an elevated sole in it, an elevated heel. So it's built into your shoe, it's much more stable, but that's further down the line for yourself. So once you've mastered this, I would say stick to this for a few weeks, at least to the point where you can do a 40 to 45 pound dumbbell for the goblet squat and feel comfortable in doing that for 10 to 12 reps. From there, then we wanna move into the barbell squat. So I'm gonna show you how to get set up here. So first things first, what you wanna do is make sure that we got your safety bar set up, especially if this is your first time. You don't wanna play around with this. If you don't know how to bail, you gotta make sure you have the safety bar set up. So this is gonna stop the bar from coming down on top of you. If you do fail a rep, you shouldn't be scared to fail. But if you have these, that's where you need to start. So when you go ahead and set up the bar height, it should be set up right at level with your shoulder. So this bar is actually a little bit too high. just because I don't want her to come up on her tippy toes to get out of the cage here. So go ahead and put that one down one. Cool, so you should have to do a little quarter squat to get it out. That's number one. Number two, so the way she's coming in here to the cage, this is the proper way. The wrong way, and what I see with a lot of our clients or some of our clients, is you going backwards because it feels natural. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get the bar on my back and I'm gonna walk out. But what you're not thinking about is, what are you gonna do when you're tired, or maybe the weight's getting heavier and you gotta go in blind to get that back on the hooks. And then, yeah, you're stuck in this position. That's not a position you wanna be in. So always err on the side of safety. Come in, walking into the bar. So you wanna put your head underneath the bar. And also ladies, as you can see, her hair is tied up here. Another thing you don't want is to get your hair caught underneath this bar with weight on the bar. It's a disaster. So hold on, come out again. So when you set up your hand placement, a good place to start is to go with your thumbs out wide and line them up with the edge of this knurlings here, which is the grip that you see on the bar. So that's a good place to start. That's probably average shoulder mobility. If you find that's too tight, you can widen them out a bit, but you wanna make sure your hands are even on the bar. So that gives you a good checkpoint. So once you place your hands, now you can go ahead and put your head underneath. And now, so this is a good time to talk about bar placement. So a beginner bar placement, a lot of times people wanna go in and they wanna put that neck roll on there because they're scared of how the bar is gonna feel on their back, but it creates...
It hurts at first, but honestly, it gets better. And when you're using the neck roll, just makes it doesn't feel natural.
Doesn't feel natural, the bar's unstable, but also it's not sitting on your back where it's supposed to be. So to make it feel the best on your back, what you wanna do is pinch your shoulder blades together and maintain that.
Has that cushion.
So it has that little cushion there, and then you step out. So then when you step out, always make sure that you're squeezing these together, stay super tight here in your upper back. So also you notice she's been doing this a while, but you want a 2-step walkout. You don't wanna be walking out 5, 10 steps, just 2 steps so you can stay within your safety cage here. So once she's in her spot, now she's got her hands set, she's ready to start descending on the squat. So go ahead and do a rep. So that's a perfect squat right there. Do another one. So go ahead and knock out 5. Good, so go ahead and walk back in. So that is the high bar placement. Now for someone like Jasmine, who's quad dominant, that's probably gonna feel more comfortable. But an alternative for someone like myself is the low bar placement. So what she's gonna do is same setup, but now she's gonna walk in and the bar is gonna go down on her rear delt, so her shoulders. But this is gonna create a little forward lean here before she's sitting into her squat. So usually much wider stance, much more hip dominant people. So if you have longer femurs like myself, this will help you sit deeper into your squat. It does take some getting used to though. So another thing to go over here is when you are trying to do your squat and you're finding that your knees are caving in, this is because you're not turning on your glute medius or your side butt. So a lot of the activation exercise that we'll put in this video here is lateral walks, all the band exercise you see us do for activation, that's to turn those muscles on. But when you're doing your squat, you wanna feel as if you're tearing the floor apart or pushing your knees out as you're sitting in. You don't want your knees to be caving in, that's not an advantageous position. So always make sure you're pushing your knees out. Also, go ahead. So it allows your hips to clear, your femurs, when you push your knees out like that.
Yeah, so you should feel your glutes like right here, activated.
Absolutely. So a lot of times we'll also see the high squat, where you just stop yourself right there.
I used to do that all the time when I first got started to squatting. I would stop right here.
Because it's scary when you go down there, right? You feel like you can't get up. But if you want to grow your butt, you're trying to get thick, you gotta go down to the bottom because that's when your glute is most stretched and that's when you're gonna get the most activation. So you gotta make sure you're sitting down to at least parallel. I don't teach
Ass to grass.
Yeah, I don't teach the ass to grass squat. That's more of an Olympic style squat. We just teach the parallel squat. Parallel is not measured from your hamstring. So a lot of people think that the hamstring parallel to the ground is where you're parallel. Parallel means the crease of your hip is parallel to your knee. That's when you're at the point where you want to go ahead and stand up. And then the next fault I see is the stripper squat. So go ahead and show us what a stripper squat looks like.
So this is something that I had to correct too as I was going, as I was lifting heavier.
Yeah, as you get up in weight, the stripper squat becomes more prevalent. But it's when you see how her hips are leading the ascent or leading her on her way up. That's not what we want. So go down, yep. So the cue that I give her all the time is to imagine a triangle here in the back of your head and your shoulders. I took this from Squat University. Check them out on Instagram. But if you imagine a wedge here, a triangle, and you're driving that up into the bar first, that's gonna give your brain and your body the cue that I need to drive my shoulders up as I'm standing up. So go ahead. Good. So a good way I also like to think about it is I'm pulling this bar down on my back to make sure I'm staying tight here. So a lot of times when you dump over, it's because you're actually getting loose there in your shoulders, and then that creates the bar rolling forward. So the next one here is breathing when you're in your squat, when you're actually gonna perform your rep. So the way I like to coach her up on it and the way I coach my clients is to act like you're going underwater. So if you imagine you're gonna go underwater every time that you're gonna do a rep, you're taking a big inhale and you're holding that all the way till you're about halfway up, and then you can go ahead and exhale. You don't want to be exhaled at the bottom. So you want to be expanding your core. So you're not flexing it like you're going to do a crunch, but you're actually expanding it as if I was going to punch you in the stomach, right? You want to make sure that everything is pushed out, kind of like a shaken up Coke can, right? You want pressure on all sides. That's what's gonna make your spine the most stable. That allows you to produce the most power and stay stable in your squats.
Yeah, that's a tip that that really stuck with me is when you told me, imagine if I was gonna punch you in the stomach. You should be like it should be braced.
100%. So that's also why we say in compound lifts, your core plays a big part of it, because every time she's bracing her core like that, she's getting core activation, abdominal activation, so that's gonna build up her core while she's doing these exercises. Also, the pinching of her back, that's gonna help her build up her back. So that's why we believe in compound exercises over everything, because she's working multiple different muscles in one exercise. It's gonna save her a lot of time, it's gonna save her a lot of injury, but it's also gonna allow her to maximize the amount of muscle she's able to gain. All right, so this has been Squatting 101 with the Basses. So just stay tuned for the rest of this series. We're gonna walk you through all the different compound exercises that we do with our clients and how I got her started with her fitness journey. And then we're gonna walk you through just all the basics of getting started in this journey. So stay tuned for this series. Also, like she said before, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications. Make sure that you're being active in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know what mistakes you guys are doing, because for me, I made all of these mistakes and I was doing it in the gym. Like, I remember back then I had this fear of looking stupid in the gym, but I was still getting it done. But practice makes perfect. I've been working out for 8 years and I'm still working on my form.
I've been working out for 20 years. I still work on it all the time. It's something it's a lifelong journey, right? But let us know in the comments how you're doing with this. If there's anything we didn't cover, let us know. We'll make some videos about it for you. We want to make sure you have everything you need to get started. All right, we'll see you next time.